Fear is the enemy.
City Music Box.
Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. And hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke. I'm chasing this music thing, and I ran out of hope. I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, I know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest. 0824.
Wow. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. How's everybody doing? It's your boy DH. I am here for another version of Circle Talk. But this is our August version of mental health. And our topic for today is YouTube, social media, and our kids. I am really excited to be here. And I have a couple guests in the waiting room that I'm really excited to have on with me. These young women have been in my life for a little bit, and I feel like a lot of who I am today would be a little different if they weren't a part of it. I call them my sisters. We are a circle. And what I mean by that is these young ladies have been riding with me since day one. Every morning we have conversations. We challenge each other. We have prayer sessions. We tell each other about our lives and our ups and downs. And, we have been there for each other for a while. And I'm very appreciative to have them in my life. So I'm welcoming Mrs. Lynn, Nesbitt, and Rebecca Kushi to this conversation. But before we get them ladies in with us, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you so much, iShotya.com, for continuing to be a part of what I do. If you guys know anybody that is in need of pictures for weddings, back to school, whatever the case may be, all you got to do is hit up iShotcha.com and he'll get you done correctly. Icon ENT, thank you so much for continuing to support me and everything I do. Icon ENT is in charge of the bus extravaganza. He is taking people wherever they go, wherever they want to go in style. If you need someone to get you somewhere and you don't want to be in charge of your bad transgressions or whatever the case may be, if you're going to go out and have a good time with your friends and don't want to be driving, all you have to do is hit up Icon ENT. He'll get you there at a reasonable price. So hit him up. Next, I want to give a huge shout out to the Chaya Fashion for continuing support and her amazing work in the community nonstop. She's doing amazing pop-ups all over the state. She was in Seattle one day, then she's in Bellevue, then she's in Tacoma. She's always moving and always excelling at everything that she does. Go to chayafashion.com to figure out where she's going to be next. Last but not least, I want to give a huge shout out to Intention Juice and Smoothie Bar for her amazing work that she continues to do in the community. She has just opened up 2 more stores, and she is continuing to bless everyone that she comes into contact with. So if you guys would like to go and meet her or experience the Intention Juice and Smoothie Bar extravaganza, go to 56 in South Tacoma Way and tell her I sent you. She'll give you a great discount. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring these ladies in. We're going to have a conversation about YouTube, social media, and our kids. Let's go. There's one of y'all. There's 2 of y'all. There's 3 of us. Let's go. How y'all doing? Can you guys hear me okay?
Hey.
So. Oh, here we go already. So, thank you guys again so much for being here. I know this is an important topic to all 3 of us because we all are around kids all of our lives every single day of the week. And we know how social media has changed from when we were young to what we're dealing with today. And so I know this topic is going to be one that we all are going to be touching on and really diving deep into. So why don't you guys both just say a little bit about yourself and why this is such an important topic to you? Whoever wants to go first, shoot.
You can go first, Lynn.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm Lynn. I am very close friends with Rebecca and David. We've traveled a lot together. Like David already said, we're always talking every day. I'm an artist, fine artist. I do paintings, and I'm a writer. And then, I'm a mother and a grandmother. So there's that part. That's me.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Rebecca?
Is it my turn? I can't hear.
Yes, it's your turn.
Okay. So I'm Rebecca, and these are my 2 best friends. I talk to them every day. They're my support. Just very passionate people, and I know they always got my back. So this topic is important to me because I just raised 2 children that are now 18 and above, and I just adopted a little boy who is now 2. So this is I've kind of lived through one era of the social media, but now I'm going to get hit with the second part. So that's why it's important.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason why I chose this for mental health discussion for today is because I see it and I experience it, and I'm watching. When I even think about my oldest daughter to where my son is right now, and how much of a focal point social media is in her life to where he's at. It's crazy how overwhelming it is today. My son is 5 years old. His mom got him a phone at 4, and to me, I'm not going to say that there hasn't been times when I've been okay with him having that phone, but at the same time, it's like this is what the world is turning to, allowing the phone to be in control of of our children. And
Hmm.
so what do you guys think about kids and social media? Is are we moving way too fast, or when is a good time? When do you guys think a good time is it for them to learn and be a part of this social media? What is your guys' thoughts on it?
I'm trying
Lynn,
to
you
see
can
if
go
Rebecca.
first because I'll catch up.
Okay. All right. I got you. Um, so my 2-year-old granddaughter and my almost 2-year old nephew, they have their own tablets and they know how to work their tablets. They know when there's a commercial or an advertisement. Is this an advertisement? They'll use the big word. Um,
Mhm.
they have the parental controls. Obviously, they do YouTube. They're extreme YouTube heads, and they know so much, so
Mhm.
much more than my kids did when they were 2. They
Yeah.
know they're like a dictionary, like a walking encyclopedia already. It's crazy the amount that they're soaking in. I don't know if it's good or bad. I do know that our parental controls are on. They do not get their tablets all day. There's a time limit. Um, but that's how they're learning. They're
Mhm.
they're they play with their toys, but they would rather watch the tablet. And now we
Mhm.
do take them outside. It's really up to the parent because you have to really push them outside.
Right. So, Rebecca, go ahead and shoot. What is your thoughts on kids and social media?
I don't like it. I don't like any age. Social media can be a learning tool, but with parental guidance.
Hmm.
Um, for my older two kids, we didn't even have internet until they were in their middle teens. Um, we did a lot of research on at the library. I felt like we were like one of the last families to have internet.
Hmm. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like I said, it can be a great tool, but it definitely needs to have lots of supervision. In my household, I paid for an app to monitor everything
Hmm.
through my laptop. So um, they didn't necessarily use social media,
Hmm.
but they were able to use the internet at different parts of the day. But I monitored everything. So with a little guy coming, that's 2. I mean, I'm probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my thoughts on social media is like you guys said, there has to be some kind of parental guidance on how it's monitored, how it's presented. I think there's some good in it as long as it's used in the correct fashion. Like even with my son, uh, we haven't really experienced social media yet, but YouTube, he loves kids YouTube, and he'll watch all of these kids YouTube stations or whatnot. And we obviously keep track of those, even because even nowadays the kids YouTube is meshing into the teen and older. You're seeing some of this stuff mixed in, making its way
Yeah.
into
Mhm.
into the search engines for our kids. And like there's been times where we had to shut it down because he'll find something and it'll be like, for example, he's a big Spider-Man fan and he'll be watching some Spider-Man stuff. Then all of a sudden he'll find this one Spider-Man where it's him fighting someone else and they're like killing each other, and then you'll see in blood squirt and all of this stuff, and it's like this is the stuff that is he's feeding into his mind at a very, very young age. And so like for me, like I've pretty much taken YouTube out of the house. So I have three TVs, and his TV, no kids YouTube, no YouTube. Period. We try to monitor what it is that he is watching, because he has been doing more than just watching. He's seeing these things on TV, on YouTube, whatever it is that he's watching, and then he's going out and trying to act them like fighter. He
Yeah.
loves fighting, and it's like, well, that's not how you want to treat people all the time. You don't always have to have so much aggression towards people. And he's not seeing dad do it, and I don't know what's happening at mom's house, but I'm pretty sure he's not seeing it at mom's house. So where else would he be getting it from? And it's this stuff that he's watching on kids YouTube, regular YouTube. And so yeah, that's been kind of something that we've been dealing with over at my household. Have you guys experienced any of that, where you they've been watching something, and then all of a sudden this random show will come up that is not necessarily in his or her age bracket? Have you guys been experiencing that at all, or seen it at all?
Yeah, definitely. And like Lynn said with commercials, the commercials are getting out of control.
Mhm.
Even on the radio, it's just some of the things that they now say on the radio. Now I have to monitor the music that my children are listening to.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
right.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
my kids were raised in a strictly Christian household. Like we talking like super no worldly anything.
Yeah.
So even in that, just remember, just kind of a side note, David, but my son, my son who was like 3 at the time, he wasn't allowed to have guns. We were a no gun household.
Yeah.
Um, this boy took Legos and marbles and still figured out how to build his own guns.
Yeah.
He's still a boy. So remember that, David, is your first boy, and boys will be boys
Right.
to an extent.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
so yeah, even if you filter the mess out of your house, I mean, kids are still kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not and to me, I'm not saying that I don't put it all on particularly YouTube, because I work out. We exercise together. I have a punching bag, I have a heavy bag, a speed bag. So, he has kind of experienced that part, where, we let out our aggression on the heavy bag or the speed bag, you
Yeah.
know, but like to take it to an extent where he's just randomly going up to people and just hitting them for no reason is, a little much. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. I was once that young, and I was in the same perspective of things. So I get that part. So let's talk about how do we, like, when let me just go off my question. I'll grab a question real quick. Do you think parents have allowed YouTube to take the role of teaching out of their hands? Um, what do you guys feel about that? And it doesn't necessarily have to be in your particular household, but have you guys, when you think about the economy, technology, everybody in 2023, are we seeing this more than
Yeah. Where the screen where the screen babysits the kid,
yeah,
for sure. For sure. Um, you know, my kids are grown, so like we had craft
yeah,
time, we had, like different days where we were doing different things, and there was like no social media.
right,
So watching my granddaughter grow up and seeing her being babysat by the screen, I see it, I catch it, and then I'd be like, "Come
hmm,
on, baby, you can come paint with me, and we'll go outside," or she'll like go for a
yeah,
walk with grandma or with her uncles. But like otherwise, yeah, you could accidentally get caught up in that. Now Rebecca, she's like a really good mother and parent. She knows what she's
hmm,
doing. But
right,
most people probably end up just on accident while they're cooking their dinner or whatever, being having a screen watch the child.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What do you feel,
So
Rebecca?
So I would have to say yes and no. I mean, it basically probably depends on the household. Um, I mean, for me, it definitely is not like that, for definitely sure. Um, but a lot of parents are working and busy and don't want to deal with raising their kids right now.
Yeah.
Um, Parents are also nonstop on social media, which does not help. Um, so I really guess it depends on the household. I mean, the people that I know and that I communicate with, no, it doesn't work like that. Um, but I guess
Yeah.
I would say as a whole for the world, I mean, I think I think it's half and half still right now. I don't think it's totally taken over um, everybody's mind
Hmm.
and raising children, but that's just my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I just really just think about it a lot, and even my youngest daughter just turned 13, and um, she finally got her a Facebook page, right? And to me it's just really weird, because she's still a baby, but she's got her own page, and it's really cool that her mom has taken the initiative and allowed her to have control of it, but not to a point where she's not watching her every day. Were the both of you in charge once they crossed over and they got their social medias, or did you guys stay on top of them the whole time until they were at a point where you're like, okay, you're grown enough, enjoy, live your life, do what you feel is right? Did you guys go that same path, where you just were monitoring them right out the gate?
So for me, like I said, my kids didn't have social media until they were teens, and they really didn't go on Snapchat and all that
Hmm.
until they were like 17. Both of my kids did not have Facebook until they were 18, but any social media they are on, I have to be friends with them. While they're living in my household, I have to remain friends with them on social media. And
Hmm.
yeah, I check it. I check it sporadically whenever I feel like it, whenever I want to. If I have any concerns about something that's posted, it's going to come down until we've talked about it. Um, I'm just very careful on everything.
Hmm.
Things can get out of control too fast.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Lynn?
So when I was married and the kids were younger, my ex-husband would just grab the phone at random, especially with the two older girls. They would get grounded a lot, or they
Yeah.
would lose their phone for like a month,
Yeah.
because it gets out of control. They're not even really, probably the intentions were probably good, but
Yeah.
social media and their peers will have some wild stuff going on. So yeah, you definitely we monitored it. Right now, I still have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old in the house, and I have to say I don't really monitor it as much. I'm way more relaxed than Rebecca. However, I have good children, and I know that's biased as heck to say, but um, their siblings will tell
Hmm.
on them, because they're old. Their siblings are like 23, 20, and 19. And Josh, the 19-year-old, will go off on the boys if they're doing anything they're not supposed to. So I kind of have like a built-in security system now
Hmm.
that the other kids are older. If I didn't have the older kids, I'd be like, hey, give me your phone. Let me see what's going on. Because you have to be insane not to check on what your children are doing
Right.
some way
Absolutely.
or another. You have to hold them accountable and responsible, and you have to make sure that you're raising humans that can go into this world and be impactful and not destructive.
Absolutely. So let me ask you guys a question, okay? Because you guys both have amazing kids. Obviously, I love all of them like they my own.
Mhm.
Let's say that you got this young 15-year-old and they just turned 15. They're doing really good in school, got all the people on their side, really popular, and all the cool classes, doing really well for themselves. And they get their social media going and they block you, and they say, Mom, I don't want my mom watching everything I do. What's your
Oh, then I
response? What's your
I am
response? Let's
I
go.
unplug the internet. I unplug the internet and turn off the phone.
Okay, okay.
Are you kidding me?
But they use computers at school now, though, right?
What's that?
They be using computers about 90% of the time at school now.
Oh, my kids
Yeah.
don't go to school. I homeschool them.
Oh, there you go. I guess there it is. Lock down. That's what she said. Lock down.
If my child
Yeah.
ever came at me like that, they would be in for a very. They know.
Okay.
They know. I'm in Illinois. We can still spank our children. Just saying.
That's a whole nother topic in itself.
I wouldn't even need to. But I mean, God forbid there's some child out there doing that to their parent. Like, parenting starts at day one. It starts at 0 day, like 1 day old.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you got to instill that from day one. If they out there
Absolutely.
acting wild like that, we got. Whew, I'm just happy it's not my child, David.
Yep. Okay, so how much social media is too much social media for kids under 13?
You can start, Lynn. Go ahead.
Let's get there.
I'm not even putting an answer out there. Too much? I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a balance, right? Yeah, I got crickets. I can't even give you an answer. I'm sorry.
So if they're spending more time in front of the tube and less time with their family, like when do you draw the
Right.
line and say, yo, I think you've had enough. It's
Yes.
time for us to, do family time.
Yeah.
When is too much? I mean, there has to be a number. There has to be a,
Yeah.
something.
I mean, if we're gonna equate it hourly, probably like what, like just an hour of social media? Like I don't know, because every child of mine has a different plan. So like
Yeah.
David's focused on basketball and working out at the gym,
Mhm.
and he's 15.
Yeah.
And then he'll be on social media maybe when he's falling asleep, but then he has to put it up at a certain time. Joe's a gamer. Joe is on the internet a lot. Gaming, I would say, on his gaming systems. But I make David take him out. Like, all right, go play basketball. Like, we're not doing this all day, because they will get addicted to it. Isn't there like some type of thing where they get addicted to being on it?
Absolutely. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I got some information that I'll touch on a little bit later, but absolutely, I think there is. Yeah, for sure. So, what about you, Rebecca? When is it too much for under 13?
So I didn't hear what Lynn said because it's cutting really bad for me. Under 13, I mean, I think it's all too much at that age. Even just a little bit is too much in my eyes. But again, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I just not a big social media. Our family's not a big social media people. We spend a lot of time together. We spend a lot of time outdoors. My daughter was in gymnastics nonstop. My son was in basketball. We didn't create our lives around that.
Yeah.
It didn't really hit until they were in high school, and they're great kids. We have such a great bond and trust, and that's important when you're going to introduce social media to children. So under 30, I'm not a fan of it. I just don't think their minds need that right then. Above 13, it really depends on the child. How well they're doing in school, how well they're communicating, their personality, their personal life. I just don't say, I can't say that under 13, there's not a kid that deserves it or should be on it. I can't say a kid that's over 13 deserve it. Really is based off of the kid and the parent, honestly. I think it just needs to be monitored. It really needs to be closely looked at.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I got another scenario question for you guys because I got these surprises. We got surprises here today. So let's say you guys are raising uh, a son. We'll talk about a son, and he ventures off and is really, really quiet. And you're trying to figure out exactly what's happening in his world, but he's not giving you the information or anything to kind of give you an idea of where he is at in his mind, right? You go on his social media. You obviously don't have access, but you gain access. And you realize that he is writing a lot of hateful aggression, upsetting stuff about the world and the things that he wants to do to the world. What is your next step in dealing with this situation? How do you go about bringing him back in and trying to gain access to whatever it is that's going on inside of him? Because something like this has happened, and I've seen a lot of stories, read a lot of stories about these children that are getting lost in these game consoles, playing these different
Yeah.
Call of Duty games, and don't want to talk to anybody, living in the dark all the time for hours and hours and hours. Parents try, but they fail. And then all of a sudden, bam, you hear about these shootings and these mass killings from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year old
Hmm.
kids.
Yeah.
What can we do to prevent it from getting that far? How can we gain access to whatever's going on with them? What would you guys do if you were put in this position? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Lynn, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
She had to step away
Uh,
real quick.
Go
Oh, she
ahead.
stepped
I
away.
gotta find it. My charger's not charging.
Okay, so you want me to go? Want me to go?
Sure.
So I think for me, I would try to convince a child to um, do things with the family, plan outings, get them outside, try to stay active
Mhm.
outside and with the family. Um, I would probably pull the game station out of their room.
Mm.
Yeah, they may hate me and be really upset about it, but I'm saving my child's life or saving another child's life. Um, try to communicate with them and talk with them. Maybe a therapist. I think communication is key. And not only in a relationship, but raising your children. It's you got to keep communication with your children. I think the parents allowing their kid to sit on a game system for that amount of time is just ridiculous. You're allowing that to happen. I just think that there's ways you can take control of that right away.
Yeah, I think at at some point when you see um, a son or a daughter invest all of their time, effort, money,
Yeah.
presence into this game or these games that promote violence and killing and hate crimes and things of that nature, at some point you have to say, well, this is going a little too far. Maybe I should, you know, go in there and have a conversation with them without the game
Yes.
console or without whatever it is that is taking his time.
I
What do you
agree.
think? What do you think, Lynn?
I would definitely take away all forms of technology, remove them from all apps. We would go into some deep conversation about what's going on. We would touch on therapy. We would touch on God, and we would create new habits. Really dig out what's going on, but on top of it, provide something positive to create change. Parenting is the most serious job you can ever do. Like I already stressed before, it kind of starts from day
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if it gets to that point, I'm not saying it's the parent's fault. I'm not. But if it gets to that point, it's the parent's responsibility who has to take ownership over that situation because the child is not developed enough to know what's really going on. So it's going to be a intense process. There is no, okay, we talked about it that one night and now they're going to be fine. Like, no, this is a whole process. Now you've got to really invest in your child and really take the time, and they've got to, you have to walk them through that.
Yeah.
You can't half do it.
Absolutely. So I've obviously, done a little bit of research when it comes to this actual situation. We've seen a lot of school shootings and
Hmm.
I mean, we could go on and on and on about all the different ones, but teen abuse, sometimes it's not even about the killing. Sometimes it's just about the socialization of being uncomfortable in their own skin at times. A lot of kids will stay in their room and stay on social media and watch all of these TikToks and, you know, invest all their time into wanting to be someone that they're not. We've heard about those situations as well where kids are being hated on or being mistreated because of the way that they look or the way that they I don't know, the way that they are, what I'm saying, because they're different. Like, to me, I'm gonna ask this because I think it's something that we hear a lot more of. How do we help someone when they're going through those dark moments of being different? We're talking about like the LGBTQ community. Like, I have a brother that was gay and went through a lot of hardships, but owned who he was to the day he left this earth. There are a lot of people that aren't in that lifestyle. A lot of people go to school or go somewhere and are hated on because they are different, because they look different or act different or talk different. How do we help someone when they're going through this situation? We see it on social media. We see the hate when people go live and they're talking and speaking out and they're emotionally distraught, and you see all these little hate comments all through it. I mean, it even happens to me as a black man. I get hate on all the time. Like, when I sing and I sing something that isn't black, people hate on me because you're singing white song, is what they say. Like, I don't know if I mean, obviously you guys have seen it before.
Yeah.
Um, like, how do we save these kids before they get to this point where they're like, I'm over it?
Do you want to go first, Rebecca, or you want me to?
I'm having such a hard time hearing you guys. You should go
Okay.
first.
So Joshua is not in the LGBT what Q. Okay, in the community, in the community. Um, but he was bullied heavily in school.
Hmm.
He hated school. He started biting off his nails, and they would bleed because of how bad school was for him. And Joshua is not an he's a very handsome child. Like, he wasn't
Hmm.
ugly. He didn't look any type of way. I mean, it didn't make sense, but he was the one that got picked on, and he was the one that would be beat up every day. And so we removed him from the situation,
Hmm.
because why does my child have to suffer through 12 public grade years for what? He's got a
Right.
whole life ahead of him when he's
Yeah.
a genius. So he was on an IEP because the teachers didn't know how to teach him or reach him, which isn't their fault. I shouldn't say the teachers. The system didn't know how to teach my son.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was being bullied around it. And then he was afraid that he was looking stupid, which would only bully him more.
Mm-hmm.
So we just pulled him out of it.
Yeah.
We put him in situations that was good for him. He went to acting school. He went to boxing. He he learned. He's incredibly intelligent. Like man, that child. But in school, you couldn't see it because he was so pushed down by everybody that we just, as parents, we just completely removed him from the situation because why should my child suffer? Because what? That's what everybody does. You have to
Right.
go to public school system. No, put them where they flourish. Put
Yeah.
them where they can grow, where they can become great. This child now is 19 years old. He's in the Marines. He is an inspiration to everyone that meets him. But he could have become depressed and killed himself, to be honest.
Or someone
But we,
else. Yeah.
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 So you have to look at the bigger picture and be like, how serious is it for my child to be in that? Why do they have to suffer through that? Oh, you can do it, son. Don't worry, they're not going to beat you up that bad today. No, remove them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We worked full time. I'm not saying that I was not an at home parent. Like I had school of my own. I had to work, but
Yeah.
I made sure Josh had all the time he needed. I made sure he got to his acting school. I made sure that he went to his boxing sessions. Like, was it a strain on my life? Sure, but who cares? Look at the
Right.
greatness that was produced.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to be like that as a parent. Like, you know what? I brought you in the world. Let's make sure you go out with a bang.
Yeah.
And then the right bang, the good bang.
Facts. 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 You want to touch on it a little bit, Rebecca?
So, are you asking about the bullying? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, I had an instance where my daughter was being bullied. She was going to public school and she was being bullied, and she'd come home and tell me about it, and she'd ask me, don't go say anything. Please don't call the teachers. Don't go into the school. And I mean, it happened and happened and kept happening, and she'd come down and break down and cry, and it just got to the point where I just got sick of it. I went into the school and I asked for them to do something about it. They said that they would. Nothing got done about it. Again, the following year, she went in the beginning of school. They were doing the same thing. So that's where I pulled her out. I said, "We're going to homeschool. I'm not dealing with this." Again, I guess it depends on how severe it is, but I think bullying is too much.
I and I think I probably told both of you guys about some situations um, with my daughters being bullied. Online, cyberbullying online. Called being called names because they're not all the way black or they're not all the way white, and their hairstyle isn't like their style, and they've dealt with so much. And once I seen it, y'all know me, I'm usually a really chill, kick back type of guy, but I went on and I just said, hey, if you want to bully someone your own size. Like,
Hmm.
and I know as a parent, we are trying to show our children the right way to deal with situations like that. But there comes a time when you have to put your foot down and say, hey, either you're going to leave my kid alone or I'm going to come and see you. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to come and see you, meaning I'm going to beat you up. It means I'm going to come and talk to you face to face, because I don't need to fight you with my hands. I'll fight you with these words, you know?
Right.
My
Yeah.
I know how to talk to people. So, I mean, that is, it is what it is. There's also those times where, yeah, I did, get a little upset because my youngest daughter was bullied one time at a football game by one of my daughter's, uh, uh, you know, mates, football mates,
Mm-hmm.
and he had something to
Yeah.
say. And as a father, I had to just say, hey, please don't do that anymore. I didn't say nothing else. I didn't try to play hands on him. I just spoke to him and said, hey, please do not disrespect my daughter. And all of a sudden, a young man wanted to fight me. It's and the kids these days, um, it's crazy because I think about when we were young and how my dad, they both carried whipping sticks with them. It was either a paddle or a stitcher cord, whichever one of them had. One of them had one, the other one had the other, and they were not afraid to use them. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, kids aren't afraid of adults.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy to me. I don't know. I think I don't know, man. I don't like bullies. I don't like people that bullies. I don't. I mean, I've grown up and dealt with a lot of hate and a lot of people that have always
Yeah.
told me that I wouldn't amount to anything and treated me unfairly,
Mm-hmm.
whether I was young or
Yeah.
old. I mean, people have always had something to say about anything that I'm trying to do with my life. Even to this day, doing this, people have told
Yeah.
me that I would never continue doing this. I would never amount to nothing. And this is going to be a waste of time and it's not going anywhere. But here we are.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, I think that's one of the things, if nothing else, that we can continue to tell our children that, yeah, I mean, it's great to see all these cool things on social media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, whatever it is. But if you want to know some real, true, honest history, listen to your parents. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
I have a tough time with my daughters, but they always know Dad's always going to be
Yeah.
there. I'm always going to love them wholeheartedly, especially my 15-year-old. Whew, that girl, she's the one. But I
Yeah.
love her to death. I love her to death. Um, and she loves YouTube to death. And so she's 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 always on TikTok. But let me get back to another one of our questions. We only have a couple left, guys. I know it's getting pretty late. Thank you guys so much for viewing. If you guys have any questions, go ahead. Please ask them, drop them below. We will answer them as they come through. But to me, I wanted to ask you guys this, and you guys can answer it however way you would like to. But how does all of this, social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all the rest of them, how does all of this tie into a child's mental state?
Oh.
Like,
It can, for me, it creates anxiety. I've seen anxiety come out of my children from social media.
mhm,
Um, if they do end up getting like swindled by somebody in their inbox, or like taken advantage of, or tried to be taken advantage of one way or another. My son in his good heart is giving people money. Like, dude,
yeah,
you know, and he gets anxiety from it because he's like, I don't know, I want to be a good person, and like these people out here taking advantage of people like him. So
yeah, yeah.
anxiety does come up from my children using social media, each one of them in one way or another. You got to
uh,
really teach them and train them on how to be on social media.
yeah, yeah. Rebecca, how you feel?
Um, I mean, it can really damage a child. It can. I've seen some pretty bad things happen because of social media. Um, it can go one way or the other. I mean, it really depends on how the parents parent. Um, like I said, it could probably destroy a kid. I mean, we've seen a couple instances. Um, I
Yeah.
just the bullying on social media is out of control.
Hmm.
Um, And you just got to stay one step ahead of your children. I mean, it's not hard to do, but it is hard to do.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, I mean,
That's
and every
true.
time we turn
Yeah.
around, there's a new app coming out and
Yeah,
a new thing for kids to talk on, and
yeah,
something that we haven't heard of, or we don't have any information about the app itself. I mean, it's
right.
just it's hard, it's tough, but I mean, I'm thankful. I'm pretty thankful for how things have been so far with my own children. Like I said, I have a 2-year-old, so we'll see how that plays out.
Hmm.
Me
You
too,
got
girl. Me too.
you got some time. We all got some time. I got my son is 5. He'll be 6 in September. But yeah, we got some times. We're gonna see another change here in the next millennium.
Yeah.
You know, in about 5-10 years, we may come back to this topic and talk about it again. You know,
Yeah.
because it's an ongoing situation, ongoing subject, and technology is not getting worse; it's getting better. And so, with that, that means more for all of us to do, but be together. With each other. You know what I'm
That
saying?
part. That
It's
part.
like
Yeah.
it's like the Jetsons. I don't know how many of you guys remember the Jetsons back in the day, but we're
Yeah.
going there. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So, anything else that you guys want to touch on? I do want to actually let me read these things that I've looked up. Hey, I moved myself. All right, let me read these percentages real quick for you guys, and then if you ladies want to say something to the people before we close up shop, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to you guys. So real quick, let's see. This one says, according to a survey conducted by Pew Research Center, 97% of the parents whose child watches videos on YouTube say it keeps their child entertained. 88% believe it helps them learn new things, while 75% say the platform exposes their child to different cultures. The same survey also found that 46% of parents who have a child under the age of 12 that uses YouTube says the video sharing site is doing a good or excellent job in keeping the platform safe for children. Hmm. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I'm going to keep
Same.
going. I'm going to keep going. That's just one of them. And I will drop the links if anybody want to read in further on these percentages. But yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one and get into the next one. Okay, so a majority of parents are concerned that their child might. Let me try this again. A majority of parents are concerned that their child might never spend too much time on screens. What? This whoever wrote this need to rewrite this one. A majority of parents are concerned that their child might ever spend too much time on screens and have reached out to doctors for advice about this. I don't know. I don't know what happened with this, but based on parents of a child age 5 to 11, they are confident in their ability to know how much screen time is appropriate for their child. 16% not at all. 39% are very confident, and 45% are somewhat confident in their ability to know how much screen time is appropriate for their child.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's an interesting number.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a lot of people are like me. I don't know.
and is it a bad thing or a good thing that we don't know? Because I'm not going to say that I know everything that my daughters are watching on YouTube, because I don't.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
All right, I got one more. One more for you guys. One more for you guys. Let me see if this is it. Okay. All right, this is my last little segment, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk a little. Two-thirds of parents say parenting is harder today than 20 years ago, with technologies like social media and smartphones being cited as a reason. Percentage of US parents who say that for most parents. Okay, so in today's digitally connected world, parents have to manage their own relationship with the internet and mobile devices, along with the managing their children's use of it and exposure to the same technology. This brings with it a host of both benefits and challenges. Parents, which includes those who have at least one child under the age of 18, but who may also have an adult child, are far more likely to say that parenting is harder today than it was 2 decades ago, than believe the opposite is true. Two-thirds of these parents say that parenting today is harder than it was 20 years ago for most parents. It, that's kind of repetitive. Sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah, 7% say it is easier, and 26% say it is about the same. The belief the belief that parenting is harder today than in the past is common across demographic groups, but there are some differences by age. Older parents are more likely to say that raising children has grown more difficult, with 71% of parents 50 and older saying parenting is harder, compared with smaller shares of parents ages 18 to 49, 65%. I don't know. The survey also asked parents to explain in their own words why they believe parenting is easier or harder today. But all that to say, this particular reading is basically saying it over and over again. It's just basically saying that most parents think that it's harder to be a parent today because of social media and everything that our children are picking up while they're on social media that they are putting their kids in front of. Does that sound about right? Does that make sense? Does it all make sense to you guys?
Yeah, you saying parents today think it's harder to parent today than it was for me 20 years ago.
Right. I mean, and I think we all agree that social media has definitely opened up so many things to our children that probably we would probably explain to them at some point in their lives, but they're learning it earlier than they would if social media was not around. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes, for me, probably not for Rebecca because she's a, you know, she hardcore. She's
She's
hardcore
on
with
it. She's on it.
it.
I can't hear
um,
you guys.
You can't hear me either?
Barely.
Oh
I'm
my
having. I hear
gosh.
um,
static. I'm just smiling and nodding.
Do you hear static? Can you hear me now? I don't
Kinda, a little
I don't
bit.
hear any static. I sound
I'm
great.
gonna have
No,
to
I'm
go
just
watch. I'm gonna have to go watch the
play by play.
replay.
Laura, I do apologize. Something is going on with
hey, Laura.
my social media
Hi,
account. For
Mama.
some reason, I have been checking it to see
Hey,
if it was
Nancy.
on my page, and it's not on my page. So, what we are going to do moving forward is we are just going to tell everybody to go to our YouTube channel and watch it on our YouTube channel. Trust me, you won't be able to miss anything there. It shows up there every single time. So, thank you so much for jumping on and watching us, even if it is the end of the show. So, either one of you guys have something that you would like to say to the people about our topic for the day: YouTube, social media, and our kids. Throw it at them. Throw it back, Lynn.
um,
Woo!
um,
Yes. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Inside
No.
joke, kids.
I feel like parenting is always going to be hard. I think every parent who is being a parent to a small child between 0 and 13 is going to be like, yes, it's harder right now, and they're valid, because it was hard then and it's hard now and it's always going to be hard.
Yeah.
That's the reward of parenting.
Right.
So just do your best, hang in there, and watch what you kids are doing on social media. Give them a life. Give them point out their strengths. Show them who they can be. Don't
Hmm.
just always be negative with your child. Show them who they can be. That's my 2 cents.
Hey, all right, Rebecca. I need three
Okay,
from
so
you.
what was the question?
No, there wasn't a question. This is the
Okay.
your last comments about our topic for today. How did I mean?
Okay. So
You,
I just have to say that don't stick your kid in a room with video game and internet and not check on them and allow them to play 24/7. Like that's not a good thing. Pull them out of their room, make sure you're doing things with them, make sure they're involved in the family. Monitor what your kids are doing. Don't just, my kids are amazing, but they're kids. Um, I just think that parents just need to be aware and pay attention, and I think we should visit this topic again soon.
okay, so let me give you my 2 cents, and then we're gonna close up shop, guys. So I have a 5-year-old son, and I've really enjoyed um, becoming a dad again. All of my children have been raised differently. My oldest, she came up when social media was just starting to happen, so it wasn't a big thing in her life. Same with Shay. Shay's 21 now, and social media had started to progress, but it wasn't a big thing in her life. Um, Sierra and Deja, the older that they got, the more and more everything else grew as far as, cell phones and game
Yeah.
consoles. And so game consoles was a big thing in their lives because game consoles was a big thing in my life. And that's the thing. You expose your children to these kind of things, then they are going to be a part of that environment. And they may pick
Right.
it up and be at it. And so now my girls are gamers. They're extreme gamers. All of them are gamers. All of them. But the one thing that I have been trying to do when it comes to Davion is teach him young about routine. I get him every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Saturday, we play. He's getting ready for baseball season. So he gets here about 8 o'clock in the morning. Dad is usually asleep. So he's sleeping too. We sleep in, we have breakfast, we go outside, we practice. He usually does 30 from the right swings, 30 left swings. We like yesterday, we did 30 right, 30 left. Then we ran, because I want him to stay away from the TV, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying I take it all the way away, but what I do is I try to establish a routine so that he knows that when he comes over, this is what's going to happen when I'm at dad's house.
Mm.
Dad's going to spend time with me. We're going to play some Jenga because he loves Jenga. We're going to play some Yahtzee because he likes Yahtzee. We're going to do
Hey.
that, but we're not going to do that at the beginning of the day. We're going to do that before bedtime.
Mm.
So he knows exactly when these things happen.
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
not going to be about being in front of the TV the whole time. Davion gets a movie for bed every night. One movie. And he doesn't get to pick it. Dad picks it. You know, you know, he
Bummer.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But
Yeah. Structure.
that's about being dad versus son,
Yeah.
establishing our roles,
Hmm.
understanding that this is our routine. It's not a bad thing because you're getting a movie. I don't have to give you any movie. I could put you to bed, turn off all the lights, say goodnight, and pass out. But
Right.
because I want him to be happy knowing that he has something on his side. And
Mhm.
watching a movie 9 out of 10 times, you guys, my son watches 15 minutes and he's out. Because the day has been a busy day. We stay busy doing things outside of being in front of the TV all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's 5.
Mhm.
If I continue on this regimen, the older and older that he gets, social media won't control his mind. It won't control
Exactly. Yeah.
his his
Exactly.
world. And so that's
Mhm.
my thoughts is if you have a routine, you got to hit them young and you got to stick with it. And you
Yeah.
can't bend and you can't allow yourself, oh, you got this meeting today. Let me just throw him in front of the TV and let him watch TV while I'm in this meeting.
Right.
Because you know what's going to happen? He's going to be in front of this TV for many, many meetings.
Mhm.
And then when you
Yeah.
want to get him off, when you finally want to get him away from that TV,
Right.
it's going to be a fight.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
But this is what you
definitely.
had me do the last 10 times, Dad. Why don't you want me to do it now? You know what I'm saying? So you just got to, you guys, I mean, moms, dads, parents, just make sure you guys create a routine that's going to benefit the both of you at the end of the day. Social media is taking over, but reality is I didn't grow up with social media in front of my life. And I'm not saying that it made me a better person or worse, but I know today me and my son was sitting at the table. I was teaching him how to read. I was teaching him, his addition. He hated it. But this is what he needs to learn. He needs to learn these things. He needs to learn how to read, write, arithmetic, and not be so stuck on watching it on TV all the time.
Right.
Watching
Yeah.
Coco Melon, watching Dora the Explorer. Like, come on now. Like,
There's Blaze now. I mean, that was kind of cool.
Blaze,
I watched
Blaze.
Blaze. You
Oh
know.
yeah.
Yes,
Please. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. We gotta bring them back to what works best, and connecting, building that bond with your children is
Yes.
important. You know what I'm
I
saying.
agree.
Having
Yep.
those
I agree.
routines is important.
Mhm.
Routine
Establishing
is
that
very important.
I'm not taking social media away from you. I'm just making sure you understand there's way more important things in life than you sitting in front of the TV or you on YouTube, you watching TikTok videos, you making TikTok videos all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's about character development and being able to think for yourself too. You
Yep.
know, you have to have a child that can think for itself, or I don't. My children have to think for themselves. I'm too much of a rebeller, of a trailblazer to have children that just went with the flow. I can't do
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
yeah, we just got to hone in on our children, and I mean, obviously, we want them to grow and blossom to be the amazing people that they are going to be. But we don't.
mhm.
I mean, social media is great in some ways, and it can be detrimental in others. And
Yeah.
so we have to try and maintain some type of level to not allow it to be overwhelming and control
Yeah.
who they are as people. So
Definitely.
that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts. Y'all do what y'all do, but I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, y'all. But thank you guys so much. This is our topic for today. This is our mental health check is about our kids and trying to make sure that we keep them, on our minds and in our hearts. And hopefully
Yeah.
you guys got something great out of what we talked about today. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Rebecca. Yo, are we gonna do this Philly thing or what, y'all? Philly?
Philly baby.
Philly?
Yes. Of
Philly.
course.
So so so
Let's
yeah, just so
go.
you guys know, we are going to be meeting and greeting in Philly in a couple months. All three of us are gonna team up and do this again live in Philadelphia. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Also, really quick, I just want to give a huge shout out to Circle Swags in the building.
Man, I wore my
No.
shirt.
So just in case you guys don't know, just in case you guys do not know, we got some new stuff that we're coming out with. If you guys want to support what we are doing, yo, look at this shirt. Look at the shirt she has on. Wait, over here. Show them. I mean, we just trying to create swag for the both of you, for all y'all out there. If you guys like what you guys are seeing, or you guys want to support, hit us up in the inbox. We'll get you guys your gear. Yeah, that's it. Support the circle, man. Support my team. This is what we do.
Heck yeah.
It's my family right here. So on behalf of the circle, thank you guys so much for hanging with us. We are going to say arrivederci and see y'all real soon. Take care. Peace.
Bye.
Arrivederci.